Hey guys, this is Steven here with another video on how to play some logic puzzles. This one's on a Renzoku puzzle, also known as a Neighbours Puzzle. It's very similar to a Sudoku with a slight twist. The rules state that each row or column must have the digits 1 through 5. If it's a 5 by 5 grid, if it's a 6 by 6 grid, you'd have the digits 1 through 6, and so forth. No digit can repeat in any row or column, and if a dot exists between two numbers, they must be consecutive. If there's no dot, then they must not be consecutive. And that's it for the rules. What I'm going to go ahead and do is try to solve this puzzle for you guys and share some common tips or tricks that'll hopefully make it easier for you to solve them yourselves in the future. So the first thing I do is I look for any minimum or maximum possibilities and impossibilities. And so what I mean by that is, you know that in a chain, a 1 or 5 couldn't be in the middle. And you know that if you have, let's say, a 5 in one area and there's a dot, you know the next one must be a 4. And if you have a 3 next to a dot, then you know the next square cannot be a 1 or a 5. So that's what I mean by looking for your possibilities and impossibilities. And you can jot down notes. So what's nice is here, this is where I would probably start because it's a nice long chain. So you know this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in one direction, either going down or up, because you wouldn't be able to do like 1, 2, 5, 4, 3. You can't have them mixed because all of these have to be in consecutive order. So we know that this here must be either the 1 or 5, and this here must be the 1 or 5, right? They have to be on each end. And then let's see, where else? So if this is then going to be a 4 or 2, and this is going to be a 2 or a 4, and then the middle one has to be a 3. Either which way you go about it, that's going to be a 3. And because these are not next to each other, you know, there's no dot here, so this can't be a 2 or 4. So if it can't be a 2 or 4, that leaves either a 1 or 5. Well, there's already a 5 in that column, so that has to be a 1. And because these are consecutive, this is a forced 2. And now this can be either a 1 or a 3. We don't know quite yet, but we can maybe pencil that in. That's either going to be a 1 or a 3. This is going to be a 4 or 5. And that's going to be then a 4 or 5, because that's the last digits in that row. This here cannot be a 4. Well, that's not helpful. This number, so I'm looking at the numbers that are adjacent to the 5, knowing that it's got to be a non-consecutive number. So this can't be a 4 or a 2, so it's either got to be a 1 or 3. 1 or 3. This can't be a 1, can't be a 4, so that's either got to be a 2 or 3. And that's going to be solved because this number has to be consecutive with that number. So this has to be a 3, right? Because if it's a 2, this would either have to be a 1 or 3, and it's not. So that must be a 3. And then this is going to be a 4 or 2. So let's pencil that in. 2 or 4, because it has to be consecutive with the 3. Okay, and then that makes this has got to be a 2 or 4. Oh, here we go. So this column here, this kind of brings me to my next clue, and the last one is you can use standard Sudoku strategies. And here I'm looking at a pair, a 1-3 pair, right? So I already have the 2, I have the 5. These are going to be 1 or 3. I just don't know the order. So this has to be a 4 then, because we're missing a 4. That forces this to be a 2. And then that must be a 1, because a 5 is not consecutive with 2. And so now we have all of these. This has got to be a 4 since it's consecutive with a 5. This then is a 3. That forces this to be a 1. And now we can pencil in, oh, so this is either a 3 or 5. And this is a 3 or 5. this is going to be a 3 or 4. That's a 3 or 4. This is a 1 or 2. That's a 1 or 2. And this is a 1 or 2. Okay. So all our pencil notes are in. What are we missing here? I feel like oops. Let's straighten that up. All right. So we have a 1-2 pair here. That's not helpful. 1-2 pair here. That's not helpful. Let's look at this here. This is where it's breaking. So these 2 digits cannot be consecutive because there's no dot. So this has to be a 1. That makes that a 2. That's a 1. That's a 2. And the 4, and there you have it. That is how you do a Renzoku puzzle or Neighbours Puzzle. It's a lot of fun. I like it. Again, I think if you enjoy doing Sudokus, I think you're going to like these puzzles as well. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.